Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Summer. So I woke up this morning. I literally woke up not too long ago and then found out the news, or found out about my chair is a bit squeaky. The news about Onyeka Onwenu, that her life has ended, and at the age of 72 she went to perform somewhere and slumped after, and that was it. And interestingly enough, let me just say this, Miriam Makeba was the same thing. She performed and the next thing she slumped and she was gone. Now I want to say something that I believe will empower a lot of us, a lot of you. If you've never watched any of my videos, or if you've ever skipped my videos, this one I would advise you not to skip it, because a lot of you know the story of what happened to me. You can say, okay, I died and came back, or a near-death experience, whatever you want to call it. But I had an experience that was, life-changing experience that I've not been the same. A lot of you would have noticed that I haven't been the same since that thing happened, and that has changed my thinking about life. That's why I believe that for someone like me, that whatever experience that I've had that has changed me, you don't have to experience what I have experienced before it can change you. And if I can use the word improve your life, I believe my experience has improved my life. You don't have to have it. So you have the privilege of benefiting from the changes that has happened in my life from that experience. We don't all have to have a near-death experience or something, whatever way you want to phrase it or call it, before you can. So it's a blessing to benefit from someone else's. I hope my squeaky chair is not too loud. Yeah. So after that thing happened, I saw how quickly it can be over. How quickly, this is it. Do you know what I mean? And it got me thinking, guys. I'm saying this about the end of Onyeka Onwenu's life. A lot of people are going to be on social media and looking for the drama aspect or conspiracy or the mystery and finding out so many unimportant, insignificant information about the end of her life. Please follow me. I won't make it a long one. It's going to be a short one. The insignificant aspect of the whole story, that they end up taking in so much negativity, so much stressful information, so much information that is not going to be a blessing in their lives. Even before I had my experience, I've always told people, when I hear that someone's life ended, I maybe want to know, okay, what happened? Oh, the person was walking down the stairs, okay, oh, I better be careful on the stairs. I grab information that are useful to me, right? And I leave it at that, because I know myself, I know the effect of too much negative information. A lot of you would have noticed when I covered, it's not going to be a long one. If you feel like I'm rambling, I'm going to get to the point. As like when Mohbad's life ended, a Nigerian singer that all of a sudden his life ended, the story was sketchy. And I remember that if a lot of you would have noticed, I covered that story, and I began to see that it was having negative effect on me, because it was a sad story. It was upsetting to hear some of the things that happened, and then some of the things that kept on happening, how he was put in the ground like that, there was just so much. It became so overwhelming that I think I took about 2 weeks. I didn't post. I just said I needed a break. I needed a break for my mind, for my mental health. We need to learn to protect our mental health. I made a video recently telling you guys that there's some contents I don't want to consume anymore. Some contents I don't want to make anymore, because of what effects will it have on me? What benefits are there? You understand? And okay, talking about this, especially Nigerians that live abroad. A lot of you know I've shared my Japa story, which is reverse Japa, where I decided to come back to Nigeria because I visited for the first time in 14 years, and I felt, experienced something amazing. It can be the sun. You know what I mean? Sun can have great effect on you. It can be the sun, because if you don't know Nigeria is a country that the weather we have here is forever summer. There's no winter. It's even in the rainy season, they will say it's cold. I'll just be laughing and say, is this one cold? So sun has an amazing effect on you, your mental health, your mind, your well-being. So after the experience I had, I was only in Nigeria for 2 weeks then. I knew that I want to Japada. I wanted more of that experience. I'm coming back to negative information, Onyeka has died, and then you get yourself immersed in so much controversial stories that do not benefit you. Okay, now look for content that would heal you, that will give you the good feeling, feel good. How do you say it? Is it good? Feel good feeling. I don't know. Do you know about the dopamine that your body needs? That comes from, from the brain. It needs to be stimulated. Going back to what I was saying about Nigerians abroad. Unfortunately, Nigerians abroad, especially in cold countries and all of these countries, you don't enjoy the benefit of this beautiful Nigerian sun. I'm not saying this, I'm not saying you should migrate, because some people think I'm trying to say everybody should migrate. No, I'm one of those ones that say if you need to leave Nigeria, go. If you want to Japa. If you want to Japada as well, Japada. Whatever works for you, that's it. But I'm just coming back to the fact that especially a lot of Nigerians that are living in a cold climate, winter, and all of this environment, a lot of people are suffering from low dopamine, or something they call dopamine deficiency, because you don't get the benefit of the sun. And then your daily activity is work 9 to 5, those that do 9 to 5, work, back, shop at the weekend, cook for the children. What is like, so what's the English word? Regimented. Like it's your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every single day of the week is already the same. There is nothing exciting. But in Nigeria, you wake up in the morning, you come out, your neighbor is saying, oh, hello, good morning. Good morning, ma. You have an interaction. The life is different. You have family and friends that are more, like, the life here is more stimulating for the mind. So a lot of those living abroad can have dopamine deficiency. And what does dopamine deficiency do to you? It can cause depression, low mood, lack of motivation. Apparently, research says there's so much negative things that can happen if you are deficient, right? So, and then you're living in this climate that you have this going on naturally, right? You can say the sun comes in the summer. How many months are the summer? And because of our pigmentation, Africans, dark-skinned people, we don't absorb the sun as quickly as the light, if I can use the word light, pigmented people. Oyibo people, white people, Caucasians, whatever you want to call them, their skin can, quickly uptake the tiny sun they get in the summer. But we need more. And that's why if you look at it, it's almost like, naturally, it's like the black, dark-skinned people, are from hot climates. Naturally, the way nature intended it, if I can put it that way, right? And you see that Caucasians are typically the one that are the indigenes of cold countries. Okay, let me not go into that, it's getting longer than I planned, but let me try. And so going back to, what I'm saying is, when I heard the news and she died, I was like, what happened? I just, and that's it, I've turned up. I tuned off, I've turned off. I don't want to know anymore. I don't want to hear things that will make me sad and da-da-da-da. And I thought to myself, this is something that's been working for me. Why don't I share it? There are some people that may not value it, but I'm doing it for those that will value it. Decide the kind of content you consume. That is why I've told you guys recently that the kind of content that I consume, that I enjoy consuming, I like to watch content about, these people that come on the street and maybe they see someone that was struggling to carry their load and they help them, or people that you see somebody that say, I can't pay for my I want to have a lunch here, I want to have lunch here, I can't afford lunch, and they help somebody with some money. I find them uplifting. Those are the things that I need for my mind, for my mental health. So going back to, all these avoiding negative stories, right? And trying to, going back to what I was trying to say. I'm sorry guys, I didn't plan this video. It's a spontaneous video, right? Okay, going back to what I was trying to say about, the dopamine. So there are a lot of things that can stimulate or that can increase the dopamine in you. Good news can do that. There are some things that may not be whatever. You know, there's some negative things that may do it, but the thing about negative things is that it wears off. If you're focused on your life of, okay, what's it called? Things that are positive. You know, there's good news. I want to hear more of that. You understand? I want to hear more of that because it works for the dopamine, right? The sun is good for the I lost my train of thought there. But basically my message is this. Be intentional about your dopamine levels. When I say be intentional, like make sure that you're working on it. Don't just let life happen. Choose every day to wake up and say, I choose positivity. I choose things that bring me joy. I choose things that are, going to be, things that are going to be good for my mental health. At the same time, another aspect I want to touch on a bit is that, okay, Onwenu is gone, and that's it, that's closed. You can be here and invested on, she died, she did, you don't know when you're going to leave this world. You don't know. You don't know how many more years or days or months, minutes, hours, seconds you have left. What are you doing with this second? What are you doing with the next second? What are you doing with the next 1 hour, the next day? Are you actively using whatever days or years you have left well? Or are you investing it on things that do not benefit you? You understand? When I had that experience that I said changed me, it showed me how quickly it can be all over. Like that, within the blink of an eye, this life can. And since then, I have made that choice to actually live before I leave. Do you know what I mean? To live, L-I-V-E, before I, L-E-A-V-E. Are you really actively trying to make sure that you live before you leave? I saw comments saying, summer is not of a pensionable age. Summer is not a retirement age. Summer is not and I'm like, does it even occur to people? Does it even occur to people that do you know people that have, okay, Onyeka died at the age of 72. If she was working every day of her life, like 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and then retirement age 65 in most Western society. So she would have had only how many years to have actually lived a life? So people think because there's a government thing that you must stay and do this and that you must choose that life. If that's what you want, hallelujah. Somebody else can choose. I don't want to retire to the grave because some people retire and the next thing they are gone. I used to work in a hospital in Europe. Now this woman retired. 2 months later, she was in hospital. And the next thing is cancer. The next thing she's gone. And I remember thinking, that thing, I never forgot it. And I remember thinking to myself, how? See, she was working in a hospital where I worked at, then I was a student nurse. And then that was the hospital I worked part-time for my own income. But my student nurse job is different. So she was working in the hospital where I was working part-time to make some money, and a lot of hospitals will employ student nurses, and a lot of nursing agencies will employ student nurses. So I was able to work and school at the same time. And the next thing I saw was about 2 months later, she was now my patient in the hospital where I was a student nurse. And this woman was gone, and I thought to myself, what is life? So they are saying, and when I retire at 60, if you have, let me tell you, everybody's story is not the same. But if you have an opportunity, do not retire to the grave. If you have the opportunity, plan your life in a way that you can actually live L-I-V before you L-E-A-V-E. That's another aspect I wanted to touch on. This is life. When I had that experience, I began to think, and I remember saying to myself, if this is it, or if that was it, have I actually lived? And I realized that no, there's so many things I wanted to do that I had not done. There's so much I wanted to do with life that I had not done. Do you know what I mean? I used to be like, when this happens, when that happened, after how many days, I used to, what is your guarantee that tomorrow you're going to be here? So I will do it by the time I am 60. I will do it. Another thing you have to realize, by the time you're 60, Your bones may be too weak. Your body may be too weak to actually actualize those things that you want to do. I watched an interview. They were asking an elderly couple, you know, what was their biggest regret or something like that. And this biggest regret. And they said they made the mistake of working, thinking, oh, when we retire, then we have all this money, then we can go and travel the world and do this thing and do that, you know. But by the time they were retired, they were too weak to do a lot of those things that they wanted to do. Do you know that some elderly couples, they go on holidays and they sleep because the body is no longer young. You understand? I've said this and that, but sometimes all I just want to do is that it's almost like someone that I feel like I am informed by my experiences, by watching and looking at other people's experiences, by reflection and everything. And to a great extent, I just feel like it shouldn't waste. I should share it with somebody. You know, somebody else should benefit from these things that I'm saying. That this life, Igbo ga say, wabufun bia. Pidgin will say, this life now once. Even English will say, you only live once. And Shibi Yoruba will say, aye kupe meji. It's only one life. Don't waste it. You know, when you guys, if you've been watching me for a long time, you know, if you've been watching me for a long time, you know that when people die or something like that happen, I always kind of come here and say, let's reflect on our life. So let's reflect. She lived to 72. That's not a bad age, but we've seen people that have lived up to 80 and more. But she lived up to that, which a lot of people, unfortunately, will not see that age. Let's not forget that. But I just wanted to come back and use the opportunity to bless people with what I am applying to my own life. And I really want people to think twice about a lot of these things. And hopefully, you know, my own thinking can be a blessing to somebody else today. I think the biggest message is to think about how to work on your dopamine. This is 2024. Research on it. That is Nigeria for you. I don't know. So I'm going to round this up now, and the generator is going to be on in a second. I need to round this up. The electricity is gone, but don't worry. That's Nigeria for you, any day, anytime. But don't worry, the generator will be on in a second. The next message I want people to take out of it is think about the dopamine. Research it and find out what I'm trying to tell you. Let me tell you guys what you have to realize. Nobody told me these things. I know as a nurse, I know what the dopamine is. So I started thinking about it. Okay, if the dopamine is this, so this is this. This can do this to the dopamine. This can, you know, increase it. This can, and since then, I started working towards it. Think about working on your dopamine. I'm going to leave it there. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.